Hello, everyone, and welcome to the press box. I'm Timmy, and I'm here to answer the call. Good morning, guys. It is Thursday, the day after Halloween. We're gonna talk about the game last night. Um, we have the call out coming around in just a little bit. We're gonna go over some of the key games this week in the NFL, and then of course the game picks. Now, Steven is not here. He could not make it. Work, I guess, was a little rough for him. So he did send me the game picks. He did send me his game picks. So it will still be me versus Steven in the game picks. And guys, one of the listeners reached out and was like, "Hey, do you want me to send you my game picks?" And I said, "Well, if you want to do that, that's fine. I'll I'll jot them down, and we'll see how we do versus a listener today. So today's going to be kind of interesting. It's going to be my pick versus Steven's pick versus a listener's pick. So guys, if you ever want to, send us your game picks, you can reach out to us on the socials, Instagram, Answer the Coll, Gmail, answerthecoll@gmail.com. You can comment on the episode. We're also live on YouTube. You could comment there. So lots of ways to interact if you want us to air your take, air your call. So guys, what a game last night though, huh? What a game last night it was between the Houston Texans and the New York Football Jets. It was Halloween and the Jets dressed up like a real football team. Well, in the second half, they dressed up like a real football team. I don't know what happened. Because in the beginning, it was kind of a snooze fest. I'm not going to lie. Both teams, the first four drives was 3 punts and a fumble each. So the Texans had 3 punts and a fumble. The Jets had 3 punts and a fumble. And it just kind of looked like a snooze fest. I don't know. Maybe they went out trick or treating early before the game, and they were a little tired from that. I'm not sure what happened, but the second half of the game is crazy. Aaron's go-go juice apparently worked. He came out and said that this week he's been taking cayenne pepper and water, which he says, before he says it, he says it's legal. It's just cayenne pepper and water. So I don't know. I don't know. But he came out and said that, guys. So it's Aaron's go-go juice for the win. Aaron and the Jets get the win. 21-13. And it was a tale of two halves. The Jets offense was real sputtery in the beginning. Halftime rolled around and, well, they woke up. They scored some touchdowns. They win the ball game. Garrett Wilson had a game. Garrett Wilson. And in the fantasy segment, I do want to point out, I said don't start CJ Stroud if for the fantasy purposes. I did not like him. He's been struggling. Didn't have his top offensive weapons. Stronger defense, New York Jets defense. On the flip side, I said start Garrett Wilson. I said, I like him in this matchup. I think, with the addition of Devontae Adams, that's going to open up stuff even more for Garrett Wilson because now, teams can't double team Garrett Wilson because that leaves Devontae Adams open and vice versa. So Devontae Adams is, starting to come around, starting to make an impact. Jets get the win. And Devontae Adams had a game last night. So if you started Devontae Adams, good job there. Good job there. But the Jets got the win. Aaron's smiling. Aaron, we talked about this. Everybody talks about this. Aaron Rodgers is a different guy after a win versus after a loss. After a win, he's smiling and cracking jokes and fun to be around, and the whole thing. If this game would have went the other way, it would have been dark, Aaron, and so he gets the win. The Jets improved to 3-6. Is there now? It's gonna take a lot. It's gonna take a lot. But the Jets are in the hunt for the playoffs. Playoffs? Yeah. You remember Jim Mora and his little playoff rant? One of the more iconic rants that I could ever remember in football. Him and he was Green for the Arizona Cardinals, and he was like, "They are who we thought they were." Well, the Jets were not who we thought they were last night. We thought they were an old washed up team, and now I'm not gonna lie, in that first half, Aaron looked rough. That O line wasn't blocking. He wasn't extending plays like he used to, and I was like, well, Father Time, it's not looking good on Aaron. But in the second half, he steps up in the pocket. He kind of scrambles. He doesn't complete a pass, but on this one play, but it was the fact that he was up and moving. So that was interesting to see. We haven't seen a whole lot of movement out of Aaron Rodgers this season. I don't know. Maybe the Achilles is finally starting to feel good. Maybe the go-go juice had something to do with it. The cayenne pepper and water. I don't know. I don't know the significance of just cayenne pepper and water, but all these athletes have these quirky little treatments and workout plans. So who knows what is happening? Who knows what happens there? The Jets got the win. I called it. I said they were going to get the win. I felt like this was a must win for the Jets, and they did. They got the win. Steven's already off to an 0-1 start, so and he's not here to defend himself. So I guess I get to crack jokes. No, I'm not going to do that, but I might poke fun a little. But the Texans, I don't know. Texans are looking rough right now, guys. They are not the same playoff team that they were last year. CJ Stroud, the line's not protecting for him. That Jets defense played really good, especially in the second half. And there was just times that CJ Stroud looked like he was lost on the football field. No Stephon Diggs, no Nico Collins. He only really had Tank Dell. The O-line isn't blocking, but I don't know. I kind of thought C.J. Stroud has always kind of been more of a pocket passer, but kind of similar to Aaron in his younger days. He's gonna stay in the pocket as much as he can, but not afraid to extend the plays. But we didn't see a whole lot of that last night, guys. We didn't see a whole lot of extended plays for C.J. Stroud, and guys, I don't know. I'm kind of concerned for the Houston Texans right now. They're kind of on a downward spiral, and if they're not careful, guys, they could actually miss the playoffs. So Texans are kind of going down, Jets are kind of going up. And last night, I don't even know if it was the better team that won, but the team that I guess you could say that played the hardest won because the Jets defense came to play. Garrett Wilson makes a spectacular catch, okay? Spectacular catch. Guys, if you don't know what I'm talking about, you need to look it up. Just type in Garrett Wilson catch. Unbelievable catch. He actually looked like the Jumpman logo for the NBA. Michael Jordan extended, all that. He makes a killer play, okay? And at first they rule it an incomplete pass. Well, the Jets coach challenges it, and I was like, wow, you're going to challenge it? Like, because to me it looked like he was out of bounds. He got a foot down, and then it looked like he went out of bounds. But the Jets' end zone last night, because it had the green, the black, then the white, well, the black was still in. The black was still part of the end zone. And he gets his shin down. He gets his left shin down before the knee hits out of bounds. A shin equals 2 feet. Okay. Now, this is something I don't understand. George Pickens got the same foot down twice, and it's ruled incomplete. But Garrett Wilson got a foot and then the same shin down, and that equals 2 feet. A shin equals, so a shin, a forearm, elbow. So from forearm to elbow or elbow to forearm. If that is down, the shin or knee is down in bounds before other body parts touch out of bounds. That is 2 feet, guys. I still don't understand it, but that's just the rules. Spectacular catch, and honestly, it kind of, reminds everybody of the OBJ catch against the Cowboys years ago. It was a primetime game at MetLife Stadium. The only difference is the Giants would go on to lose to the Cowboys and finish the season 6-10 and miss the playoffs. Jets are 3-6, guys. They're 3-6. Garrett Wilson had a game. Aaron Rodgers actually, he had a solid game. He didn't have 300 yards passing, but he had 3 touchdowns. So a solid game for the Jets offense. 2 of them went to Garrett Wilson, and then Devontae Adams had a touchdown to finally seal the game late in the fourth. So, like I said, they can make the playoffs. Now they need a little bit of help, and they obviously got to start stacking up the wins. But the Jets could make the playoffs, guys, and I don't know. Maybe the football gods were on Aaron and the Jets' side last night, because there was the Jets were up 14-10, and the Texans are attempting a field goal, and then it's a personal foul because the guy, hit the center, and you can't do that. He basically put his knee thigh area in the guy's helmet and on the center, and you can't do that. They don't have any time to really. So centers on field goals are kind of off limits, and so personal foul, 15 yards. The kicker makes the field goal, so it would have been 14-13. And then all of a sudden, it's like a 20, and this is like a 44, 45-yard field goal, and he sinks it. I mean, he just, boom, right down the middle. Personal foul, 15 yards, half the distance to the goal. I think it turns out to be like a 22 or 29-yard field goal. It was like a 20-some-yard field goal. And he doinked it and missed. So now it's still 14-10. And, well, then the rest is history. Jets go on to win this game 21-13, guys. Aaron and the Jets. But they get the win. Good job, Aaron. Good job, Garrett Wilson. Good job, Devontae Adams. Good job to Jeff Ulbrich for having his team ready. I don't know what happened at halftime. It's still a mystery to me. But they get the win. So that's all that really matters. It's not how you get there. It's, it's not what you did, but it's how you did. And, well, they got the W, and that's all that matters in the stat sheet. So we're going to go over a few games. We have the call out coming around, and then we have the weekly picks for the rest of the NFL games. And like I said, to kick off the show, one of the listeners has given me his picks. So I have his picks matched up against our picks, and we're going to see how we do versus how he does. Last week, both me and Steven went 9-7. And maybe we need to keep track. Maybe that's something that needs to happen. A little competition, to see who has the most picks right. So, but first game up. Well, it's Steven's hot take. It's the Chargers and the Browns. Browns got a big win against the Ravens prior to that. They were on a losing streak. Okay, so they were like I think it was like a 4-game losing streak. But Jameis Winston is the QB now. He will be the QB the remaining of the season. And I think that Jameis Winston is the spark that this team has been needing all season. I think that it's the quarterback that they have really should have been starting since week 1 or week 2, week 3, somewhere in that ballpark. But Deshaun Watson's big contract kind of hindered. Owners don't want expensive players sitting on the bench, so it's kind of like a catch-22. And I felt this way in the Jets game last night. The left tackle for the Houston Texans, he got a false start. He's one of the most penalized tackles in football this season, especially with false starts. But he's making so much money that they can't put somebody else in. So anyway, Jameis Winston's been he's always been a great leader in the locker room, like I said. But is it too little, too late? Um, they have to get this win first, so they have to beat the Chargers. They need to stack the wins. They need a couple teams to start losing before they can even think about the playoffs. It's been an up and down year. They need to stack those wins, like I just said. But I don't know if they can do it, guys. I don't know if they can do it. Now, on the flip side, Herbert's been a good quarterback for the Chargers. He's had a good season. Hasn't thrown the ball as much, but hasn't needed to throw the ball as much. But the interceptions are down. He's only thrown 1 interception all season, guys. So that is something to monitor. Maybe I look for Jim Harbaugh to attack early and then rely on the ground game. Maybe old Jim had a talk with brother John. John Harbaugh is his brother. Just lost to the Browns last week. Maybe he relies on him to scheme up a good game plan versus the Browns. So that'll be definitely really interesting to see. Obviously, I root for the Chargers, so there's always a game I want to watch. But there's also some other games that I'm really excited about. Broncos Ravens. Oh, this one here. This one here is actually really good. It's going to be interesting to see which team comes out on top because Broncos defense has allowed fewest yards per play at 4.4 yards per play. Meanwhile, the Ravens offense is averaging 7.1 yards per play, so it's a really good defense taking on a really good offense. What side of the ball is going to win? This is one of the games I'm excited about. Both teams have had success, but also both teams are 5-3, so I fully expect the Ravens to come out and run the ball and be physical. King Henry showing no signs of slowing down. Not sure how much newly acquired Dante Johnson will be used for this one. The Ravens just went out and got Dante Johnson earlier this week. I don't know. Maybe he's in for a few plays just to kind of get familiar, but I'm not looking for him to have like a super big game. Bo Nix will need to protect the ball, not turn the ball over, not throw interceptions, not fumble the ball. If they want to come out on top. So really, Bo Nix needs to attack this weaker secondary. The Ravens secondary is it's probably the weakness, probably the weakness on that whole Ravens team. So if Bo Nix can have a good game, carve up that defense, not turn the ball over, they can get the run game going, maybe set up play action. They have a shot at winning. So this should be a good game, guys. It should be a good game. It's one that I'm excited about, and I hope they show this one. I don't know what the CBS Fox schedule looks like yet, but I hope this is one that they show. If not, I hope I get to see this next one, Lions versus Packers, which I can watch any game. All I have to do is wait 10 minutes after. I got NFL Plus, NFL Plus Premium or whatever. Yeah, you can get that, and you can literally watch any game of the NFL 10 minutes after it ends. So if it's not aired, you can just wait 10 minutes after it ends. Not look at your phone for a couple hours. But this next one, it's the game of the week, guys. It is the Super Showdown in the NFL. Holy cow. Yeah, it's the big game. Big time matchup between NFC North rivals. The Detroit Lions taking on the Green Bay Packers. Detroit is on the road for this one, but I don't think they care. They have been playing lights out football all season. And I feel like Detroit is playing the best in the league right now. I know Chiefs are, the only undefeated team, but I think as a whole, I think the Detroit Lions are actually playing probably the best football in the league right now. So, the Lions have won 5 straight, scoring 30-plus points in 4 of the 5. 3 out of the 5, they have scored 40-plus points. So they're on a 5-game winning streak, 3 games of 40-plus, 4 games with at least 30-plus. That's a high-powered offense. And, Aiden Hutchinson isn't there. He's probably out for the season, but I don't think they care. They might make a move. The trade deadline is coming up on Tuesday. So they might make a move there to try to fill that void, but so far they haven't needed it. On the flip side, Green Bay's had a good season, guys. They've had a great season. They are home, and I'm sure it will be cold there, which could actually play a big part, guys. Detroit's last 4 games have all been indoors. Even their away games have been indoors, so Detroit hasn't played outside much lately, and that could be a deciding factor. Another deciding factor could be if Jordan Love plays or not. I know he is trending on upward playing. He was limited in practice yesterday. I'll obviously see how he has to do today. We're going to be making these picks before any practices really finish. So we won't have any news about practice until after this episode is over. So, just take it with a grain of salt. Just know that, Jordan Love is on the upward. I do know that the Packers have a bye week next week. So if Matt LaFleur doesn't feel 100% confident, he may just say, hey, Jordan, you sit out. We have the bye. Get healthy. We'll come back. Come strong. So that is something that we'll have to monitor. There. So, well, guys, I'm going to go ahead and get the call out done. Get it out of the way. It's a shorter call out, but it is time for the call out, guys, where I am going to call you out. First up, we have a good call out for Mr. Beanie Bishop Jr., corner for the Pittsburgh Steelers, undrafted free agent, earns Defensive Rookie of the Month. Defensive Rookie. Okay, so this guy doesn't even get drafted, just shows up, I guess, for tryouts or whatever. They sign him as an undrafted free agent. He earns a starting role, and now he's earned Defensive Rookie of the Month. He has 17 tackles, 2 tackles for a loss, 5 pass breakups, 3 interceptions. What a rookie season already for Mr. Beanie Bishop Jr. Beanie is his nickname that his grandmother gave him because reminds her of the Beanie Babies. So that is how he got his nickname. He just earned Defensive Rookie of the Month. So big shout out to Bishop. You keep doing what you're doing, man. We'll see if you can get another defensive rookie. Maybe it'll be defensive rookie of the year. Who knows? So keep doing what you're doing. I know the Pittsburgh Steelers are happy to have you on their defense. So next up, well, this one isn't going to be a good one. This one is for Mr. Malachi Corley, Jets rookie wide receiver. Okay, first of all, he expresses his frustration with his usage in the team's offense so far this season. Okay, so he came out either yesterday before the game or on Wednesday and expresses his frustration, not happy with it. So the Jets offense coordinator says, "Hey, you know what? We're going to scheme up something for Mr. Malachi Corley." And they give him a jet sweep. And he's got it. He's got a touchdown. Oh my goodness, the rookie scores his first touchdown. But wait. No, he doesn't. Because he drops the ball behind him before he crosses the goal line. Why do people do that? Run 3 steps in to make sure. Because it's not if you step in, it's if the ball crosses the goal line. So he's running. He's got it. He's got the touchdown. Boom. Jets are going to be up 7-0 early. But he has the ball behind his back and he lets it go just like inches shy of the goal line. So it then bounces out of the back of the end zone. So that's a touchback, Texans football. And that actually was a big momentum shift early in the game. And what if that would have cost the Jets the game? I would not have wanted to be Malachi Corley in that moment. So stop it, man. I don't know what you're doing, but you gotta do better and stop doing that, because dropping the ball before it crosses the goal line is not a good look, especially after you express frustration with your use. I bet he doesn't touch the ball for a while this season, guys. You think you were not getting the ball before? You about to really not get that ball. So stop what you're doing. Don't do that. I called you out because you made a bonehead decision. That is the call out, guys. That is the call outs of the day. Yeah, like I said, there's a short list, but it's Thursday night. We're getting into the weekend where more stuff happens. Don't worry, Monday. I'm sure Monday's show will have a full list for you. We have a lot of good games. I'm looking at it. Rams, Seahawks. That one kind of stands out to me. Colts, Vikings is a little interesting to me. And let's see. There's one more. The Cowboys, Falcons. That has my interest a little bit. Well, guys, I think it's time for last call. It is time for last call. And the last call of the day is going to be the NFL picks. The pick'em, the weekly pick'em. Like I said, I've got my picks. Steven sent me his, with him not being here. So I have his. I also have a listener's set of picks. It's kind of interesting because some of it he agrees with both of us. Some of it he agrees with one. Some of it he agrees with the other. So kind of a real interesting week. And looking at this, there are several games that me and Steven kind of disagree on. So this could be a who's better week. I don't know. But we're gonna get started on these pick'ems. I will read Steven's, then myself, then the listener, or maybe I'll do Steven, the listener, then mine. Yeah, I'll do it that way. I'll do listener, Steven, mine. That way it's his and then ours. Okay. So first up, it's Steven's hot take. And the listener has chosen the Browns as well. So Steven picked them because this is his hot take of the week. So The listener agrees with Steven and says that the Browns are going to beat the Chargers. Wow. Well, I don't know if it can be a hot take if our listeners agreeing. I mean, I'm going to be honest, guys. There in the beginning, I was kind of going to use the Browns as my hot take. So now is it really a hot take? This could really happen. I went with the Chargers by default because it's a hot take, so I'm going to go against him just like he goes against me on my hot take. So I picked the Chargers here. I think Jim Harbaugh, like I said, he's gonna get with John and be like, hey, how do I game plan? How do I scheme up for Jameis Winston and the Browns? And I look for the Chargers to control the ball, play good defense, and come out with a win. That way they can start their playoff journey. So I've got the Chargers. They have the Browns. Next up is the Saints versus Panthers. And I'm just going to say we all agree on this one. I picked them, Steven picked them, and the listener picked them. So Panthers is a dumpster right now, okay? They just traded Dante Johnson away. Now they're kind of in the market to see what the value for Bryce Young could be. Holy cow. Not a good look for the Panthers. Derek Carr is expected back. So, I mean, even if he wasn't back, I would still pick the Saints to win this one. Steven picked the Saints. The listener picked the Saints. So we all agree on this one. We have our first clean sweep of agreement. Now, next up, we have the Dolphins and the Bills. So the listener picked the Bills. Steven picks the Bills. I went a different route, guys. I went a different route. I went with the old Dolphins, okay? I'm picking the Dolphins this week. Tua's back. He's healthy. I think that's going to be a more high-powered offense now. I know that they lost a close one last week to the Cardinals. But I think... And Dolphins have a lot to prove because, everybody says that Dolphins don't do good in colder weather. I'm sure it's getting kind of cold up in Buffalo, New York right about now. So I look for the Dolphins to go in and handle business on the road versus the Bills. I look for Tyreek Hill to get involved. I look for Jalen Waddle to get involved. I look for the running backs to get involved. This could be this is probably going to be a really good game because it's a division game. So I'm sticking with the Dolphins. I'm going to stick with the Dolphins and be the lone wolf on this. I'm the solo. Next up, we have the Broncos and the Ravens. Ooh, my. A good one. The listener has picked the Broncos. Oh. Steven and I have both picked the Ravens. Maybe the listener knows something that we don't know. I should mention in his beside this pick, he put in parentheses hot pick. So maybe that means that's his hot take of the week. It's his hot pick. So he picks the Broncos. I'm picking the Ravens. Steven picked the Ravens. I'm picking the Ravens because it's Lamar and King Henry. They lost last week to the Browns. I'm sure that kind of ticks them off a little bit. It is a home game for the Ravens. So I think they have a slight edge there. I think it's going to be a great game. Like I said, it's going to be a great game. But I think in the end, the Ravens offense will be just a little bit too much for that Bronco defense. I should point out that, Bo Nix is leading all rookies with 12 total touchdowns. So good job, Bo Nix. I mean, he's having a pretty good season. Maybe he can carve up that defense. Maybe the listener's onto something. I don't know. We'll have to find out. Next up, we have the Raiders and the Bengals. It is a home game for the Bengals, and this is a all across the board agreement. I picked them. Listener picked them. Steven picked them. And let's be real, it's Booger Picker eating Minshew and nobody else versus the Bengals. And, Joe Burrow and company, they lost a tough one last week. They got kind of embarrassed by the good old Eagles. So I don't know, guys. Bengals are probably going to come out a little angry, and I look for the Bengals to get this win. So we're all in agreement here. Now this is my hot take. My hot take, as you guys know, I am picking the Giants over the Commanders. And boy, is this the hot take. This has got to, like, if they pull this off, this will be like the hottest take ever. That was right. So it's a home game for the Giants. That's I don't know. Maybe that's all they got going for them. It is my hot take. Steven and the listener both picked the Commanders. So it is proven that it is a hot take, guys. It's not just oh, I think it's a hot take. No, that's cooked. That's burnt. That's how hot that one is. Next up, we have the Falcons at home versus the Cowboys. The listener picks the Falcons, which I should point out that this listener is a Cowboys fan, and he picked the Falcons. So he's betting against his own team right now. Steven also picks the Falcons. Well, I don't. I'm picking the Cowboys here. I was kind of wishy-washy about it. I didn't know what was going to happen. But you know what? After last night's performance by Aaron Rodgers and the Jets, that has inspired me. I have gotten inspired by Aaron to, I picked the Jets last week and they let me down. I picked them again this week and they win. I picked the Cowboys last week and they lost. It was actually my hot take of the week. I'm inspired, guys. I'm inspired. I am picking the Dallas Cowboys to win. Holy crap. I am picking the Cowboys. In this game, I think, the Dallas Cowboys, their pass rushes, or excuse me, the Falcons' pass rush isn't as good. And I think the Cowboys will capitalize on that. Dak is really good when he has time to throw. He tends to throw more interceptions as the pressure is on. Kirk Cousins, we love him. We love him. Primetime Kirk. You like that. He's up and down. Some games he's great. Sometimes he's not. The Cowboys are starting to get a little healthy on defense. I know DaRon Bland is activated off of IR, so maybe he comes back. Kind of helps stabilize that passing attack a little bit. I look for the Cowboys to win, guys. I look for them to come out with a win on this one. So, I'm flying solo again. Kind of a trend here, actually. Because on the next one, it's the Patriots and the Titans. The listener picks the Patriots. Steven picks the Patriots. And I'm going with the Titans. I'm going with the Titans here. It's a home game for the Titans. I think, now that they don't have DeAndre Hopkins, that kind of hurts them a bit. But, Brian Callahan is finally coming in, and he's like, all right, this is what we got to do. He's been making moves. Obviously, he's building his team for the future. But I don't know, guys. I just think that, maybe at home versus the struggling Patriots team. Not sure if Drake May's playing. I know he was in concussion protocol. So I'm going with the Titans here. I'm going to be the solo on this one. The only call, the solo call. In the next game, we have... Oh, I am solo on this one as well. Oh, see? I see a pattern here. Next up, we have the Bears and the Cardinals. The listener picks the Bears. Steven picks the Bears. I'm taking the Cardinals. They're at home. And after last week, I don't know what to think about that Bears defense, especially that corner that's, Josh, like at the fans and, trying to, instigate something with the fans. He had his back to the play, and I mean, Jaden Daniels throws that Hail Mary. On the flip side, the Cardinals, last week they pulled out a game-winning field goal at the end to win 28-27 over the Dolphins. James Conner is a wrecking ball. He actually leads the league in missed tackles with 54. Some of it rushing, some of it receiving, but I think 42 of it is rushing and 12 of it's receiving. James Conner's a wrecking ball. The Cardinals offense kind of seems like they're getting under their wing, Kyler Murray, James Conner, Marvin Harrison Jr., Trey McBride. They seem like they're coming in their own. They're finding their identity and who they are, what they need to be. They're also in a NFC West that is all but up for grabs. I mean, the whole division's up for grabs, top to bottom. So I like the Cardinals to try to keep that momentum. Maybe take over the division lead here. So I like the Cardinals in this one, guys. So I'm the solo. Next up, we had the Jags and the Eagles. Steven is the solo. He takes the Eagles. The listener takes the Jags, and I'm taking the Jags. I'm taking the Jags because, Doug Peterson's returned to Philly. He used to be the head coach. Maybe he comes in with a chip on his shoulder. Also, Jags have been kind of on the upward trend here the last few weeks. Trevor Lawrence. Now, it is going to be an uphill battle. He doesn't have Christian Kirk. He may not have Brian Thomas Jr., so the plus side is Travis Etienne might be back. I don't know, guys. Maybe I should flip my pick. Maybe I should flip my pick here. Because now that I think about it, I don't know. No, I'm going to keep it. I already had this list made up, so I'm going to stick with it. Because I know as soon as I change it to the Eagles, I'll be darned if the freaking Jags don't win it. So I'm going to keep my pick here. I'm going to keep it. And we'll see who was right and who was wrong. I mean, if me and the listener were right, or if Steven had the call on this one. Next up, I get to be solo again. The listener and Steven takes the Lions at the Packers. I'm taking the Packers. If Jordan Love plays, I think the Packers, it's a home game. I know the Lions have been, they've been hot. They've been fired this past month or so. So I just think that, Jordan Love has all the receiving core. He has the weapons. The home crowd being loud, it might be a little chilly up in Green Bay. The Lions haven't played many outdoor games here lately, so that is why I'm picking the Packers, guys. Next up, it's a clean sweep across the board. Steven, the listener, and myself all take the Rams over the Seahawks. I'm taking the Rams, they got Cooper back. They got Cooper Kupp back. Now, Puka Nacua got banged up in practice earlier this week, so that'll be something to monitor. Sean McVay doesn't think it's anything serious, though. So, I don't know. Seahawks have kind of been struggling here lately. I know it's a home game, but that doesn't mean anything. Look what the Bills came in and did. So, I look for the Rams to get it, and this is kind of like the Cardinals game. Division. This is a division game, so Rams might be like, hey, everybody's sleeping on us. Everybody's forgetting about the Rams, and maybe this is where they establish their dominance and start taking over the NFC West. So I like the Rams on the road here, guys. Well, next up we have Sunday Night Football. Between the Colts and the Vikings, it's a home game for the Vikings, and the listener says Vikings. Me and Steven both say the Colts. If Anthony Richardson was the QB, I may have picked the Vikings. But the fact is, Joe Flacco and the head coach even said this, that Joe Flacco gives them the best chance to win right now. And that offense seems like it's a little bit better, even though Joe Flacco is not mobile. I think he's a better passer from the pocket for sure. But it's just weird. It seems like that team, the offense does a lot better with Joe Flacco in than Anthony Richardson right now. So me and Steven are in agreement on this one. We're taking the Colts. Listeners taking the Vikings. So that'll be really interesting to monitor. And now it is time for Monday Night Football. The Monday night game between the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the two-time defending Super Bowl champ Kansas City Chiefs. It's at Arrowhead, guys. Woo! And Tampa Bay does not have Chris Godwin, does not have Mike Evans, does not have a shot. This actually is kind of an interesting game, I will say, before I, announce the picks. Actually, I'm going to make the picks and then I'm going to make my statement. We all picked the Chiefs on this one. I mean, they're the better team overall. They're the better coach. They have the better coach. Now, with that said, this also could be the game that the Chiefs lose. Tampa squeaks one out, and then everybody starts talking. Well, the Chiefs. Oh my goodness, the Chiefs. They're crashing hard, and then the Chiefs are like, hey, we're still the defending champs, and we still have all these weapons, and we still have a great defense. And they make a nice historic run, and then they chase history and become the first team for a three-peat. So this kind of has all the makings of one of those Kansas City losses that just kind of feels, the media blows it out of proportion, and then that just kind of fuels the fire for the Kansas City Chiefs. So we all picked them, guys. We all picked the Chiefs. So there you have it, guys. We have our picks. I'm going to keep track of how well each of us did. That way we can see how we did versus the listener. And like I said, guys, if you ever want to do that, feel free. Answer the Coll on Instagram. AnswerTheColl@gmail.com. Comment on this episode on Spotify. Comment on the live on YouTube. And we will get your picks for a Friday show. So that is all the time we have for today, guys. Thank you for tuning in and listening. Whether it is your first time or you're a returning viewer, we could not do this without you. Please, if you are not doing so already and you have enjoyed this show, drop a follow, leave a review. It helps the show. It helps us grow. Share it with your friends. Share it with your neighbors. Share it with your arch rivals. And together we will continue to answer the call. Have a good day, guys.